Mary Beth is absent, everybody else on the board is here. Can I have everybody stand for the pledge of allegiance? Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Minutes of the previous board meeting and the caucus.
I will make a motion to approve the previous board meeting minutes in the caucus minutes.
I'll second.
Motion is made and seconded, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say aye. No opposed. The clerk's report?
Okay, Mary Beth sent out a note today, and I would like to read what she has to say concerning the financial reports being posted on the website. That it's, doesn't think that putting the financial reports on the website would be in the town's best interest. This information is open to the world, individuals, groups, and we'll be able to see the funds, which at times is a lot, as you noticed in our budget, our treasurer's report today. Many times, both her and I have been fished on our email, and they're trying to get us, and so thinks this would be opening our town up to malicious activities. And she has looked into other websites and all their minutes, and they have all their minutes but not their financial reports. They're available to anybody upon request. We're happy to do that, but to post them may not be in our best
Interest.
thank you. And two, there's an election on Tuesday for the state secretary of school secretary. It's a primary. There's 3 people, and it has to be narrowed down to 2. You vote for 1. And that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
The treasurer's report?
I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
I'll second that motion.
The motion is made and seconded, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say aye.
I'd like to make a couple of comments on the treasurer's report. You'll note that the taxes came in and it greatly inflated our balance. Majority of that got mailed back out on February 8th to the county, to the VOTEC, and to the high school. And then also Mary Beth transferred the balances from the Marina Fund. The year end is transferred to the dredge fund, and they start new, as well as the fire department. There, you'll see the beginning budget, and that is just a line item budget for the fire department. And so that's that one. I think I had. So that's all I had to say about that. Thank you.
Okay. Board comments? Yes.
Well, let's talk about the website for just a second. I put up the treasurer's report that came from Janice, and then the profit and loss and the balance sheet. The really itemized stuff with people's names I didn't put up there, and so I would like some feedback on that. I know Gordy thought, it's public, it wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing, and Janice thought that, but I think Mary Beth makes some pretty good points.
Yeah.
We don't have a website committee, and so I'm sort of just winging it. But I really could use some guidance on that. So what do you guys think about the treasurer's report?
Yeah, I'd agree with what Mary Beth said. I wasn't thinking about the fishing aspect of it, which is very valid. I think that's wise, especially if other townships or towns aren't doing it.
Yeah, that was a good idea. I didn't even think to look at other municipality websites.
Right.
Do we need a motion on that?
We can't.
We
This
can't.
is not the business part of the
Yeah.
meeting.
Well, no, I mean, I think think it's just my discretion, I think I'll take them down and not put them up anymore.
It's probably a good idea.
And maybe if there's some public comments
Yeah.
from when we get to the public comment period, people could weigh in maybe.
Make a note that, available upon request.
There you go.
Did you have anything else, Paul?
I think everything else is on the agenda.
Okay. Other board comments? Correspondence? Committee reports?
Let's, back up to correspondence quick. I don't see Talitha here tonight. But, she did email Mary Beth.
Before we get into, I did talk to them,
Okay,
and we'll have that on the agenda later.
okay, well, I think part of the reason that we didn't put that on the agenda is because the Bayfield County Planning and Zoning had approved their conditional use permit.
Yeah, but it was still contingent upon the town's recommendation.
Okay,
But then it was, the planning commission didn't make a recommendation, so anyway, they're aware, I talked to them
Okay.
after I saw their email. We're all good for right now.
yeah, we're good.
So, anything else? Yep.
This is on, Parks and Lands. We have received an invoice for the work performed on the pavilion and, well house roof from, Daniel?
Dustin
Daniel.
Yeah, Dustin. Cause Mary Beth sent it to me and asked if it was okay to pay it, and so, Doug and I went down there today and looked at it, and, he's not finished. He's got, fascia work to complete on it, and he hasn't put the ridge on it yet. And, the roofing on the well is done, that looked okay. But there's still some steel work left to be done, and he's just left kind of a mess down there. I mean, he's got 2x4s laying everywhere, and some steel left over, and
Probably a few nails.
Huh?
Probably a few nails.
probably a few
Oh,
nails.
I know that
But,
Tasha had to do a big cleanup down there.
Yeah, so,
With a magnet.
we're, and he also invoiced us for some material and additional labor for replacing the damaged wood, that was a bid project, and he did not include that in his bid, but he charged us additional for it, so that's something that we have to discuss, I think. So, anyway, it's our recommendation that we don't pay it, so that's the long and short of it, until we get that resolved.
Okay, yeah, I'll let you guys tell him to finish it before he gets paid.
Yeah.
Maybe do a cleanup.
Yeah.
Anything else on committee reports or correspondence, whichever one? So now we'll officially go to committee reports. Nothing else?
Yeah, I just realized that we have a new committee. The short-term rental committee has met twice since our last board meeting.
You're also on the agenda.
Oh, never mind then.
Okay. I mean, you can still say it now, but I did put you on the agenda for any updates you wanted.
Oh, I see, I don't know, roll this.
Yeah.
We're fine.
Okay. Sanitary district?
I've got 5 bullet points here. The soil sample came back and it was presented to our engineering firm down in Rice Lake, Cooper Engineering. And basically the engineer called me and we talked yesterday, it couldn't have been better.
Oh, cool.
They were shocked at how much, how deep the bedrock is and how much soil there is and on and on and on. So he prepared a report and he got it to the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources yesterday. So we're on board. He said it takes them 6 months. I said, is there any way I could call some people and maybe grease the skids a little bit? And he said, leave them alone.
Okay,
Okay? Now, we also talked, and we are going to design, he's gonna change the design. So we were only gonna use 2 of those 3 great big cylinders. We're gonna use all 3 of them in our new design. So that'll give us a larger capacity to clean up the wastewater. We're gonna design it with the campground in mind, and also the senior living center, and potential expansion on top of the hill up here. We see driveways going, and so I know something's gonna happen there. So we're gonna do that, cause I said, how much does it cost more to make it bigger? He says, not much, cause all the equipment is right there. So, he's thinking we'll be in construction in 2026. So I'm pretty happy. I need the town's help. We need to formalize or do something about the fact that we're gonna be spraying this effluent on town land. So I don't know if we need to lease it or what we need to do. But, we can go as far as, Spirit Point Road East. They sampled all the way out there. And all the soils are good. But we need to formalize an agreement so in the future, we don't step on each other's toes. In terms of, cause, you know, it's going to be a surface discharge, probably sprayed through the air with big hoses. That'll probably be permanently mounted in the ground, I would imagine. I haven't seen the design. And that would be done periodically. And it is gonna involve the aprons of the airport. And so all that land back there we need for the treatment of this material. So we need to at least begin the process of talking about what we wanna do with that. I know when we built the original, pond system up there, the town was gonna give us a 99-year lease for $1. The funding agency said no. You have to buy that land at the fair market value. So that became part of the grant that we received. So, and I really, you know, don't care what you do. If you wanna sell it, you wanna sell it. If you wanna lease it, you wanna lease it. I haven't heard anything from Tammy Baldwin or, Department of Natural Resources in terms of the funding source as to what they require. But I think before we get there, I should talk to you guys about that to see what you wanna do. And I was wondering if I could, schedule a meeting with the engineer and maybe the town board, to make a presentation so you guys can make a better decision. So anyway, that's the end of my report. Are there any questions?
Why, curiosity sake, why are they spraying rather than, doing what they did before? Or just let it
Well,
seep
basically,
through the soil?
our existing system discharges toward the lake.
Right.
And it doesn't happen often, but it does happen where the effluent actually does go into the lake. And it's our opinion that to ask for another right-of-way through all that area that's now developed, so that we could discharge, we discharge just less than 100,000 gallons a day when we discharge. So if we had to dump that through a channel, you know, toward, the west side of Spirit Point, I don't think we'd get a permit for that, Gordy.
Okay.
There's a lot of property owners in there now, or before, 30 years ago, it wasn't a big deal. And I don't think the DNR wants to even think about discharging toward Lake Superior.
Even though it is.
Well, I think it makes sense. I was just curious why the change.
Yeah.
That was much of,
And we know for sure that we can't use our existing one,
Mhm.
so it'd have to be a new one.
But it is treated already.
Well, it's called potable water,
Right.
so it's not, you know, but it's not something I would drink, but it's something people could drink. It's not gonna poison you, I guess. I'm not sure what the criteria is for potable water, but I think we're at the point, before we go any further, to make sure that the town wants to do this, cause if they don't, you know, we've paid for stuff that's going to last forever. You know what I mean? So we've had the survey, we had the soil test, so all these things are bought and paid for. So if we have to abandon this for now, that's already done. You know, we don't lose the money that we've invested. So, I think this is the time where we need to really, because everyone's kind of nodded their head, yeah, that would be great on the apron, but really, it's not our land. So it's the town of Bell's land. So I think, we need to develop some kind of a working agreement on that and make sure it passes the muster of the town's attorney as well as, the Sandra District Attorney and satisfies the requirements of the funding agencies. And so I'm just asking if that would be an option to bring him up here to talk to you about the land that's involved in this and how often he figures we might be having to spray, cause I don't know the answers to that. But, yeah, has a lot of experience. This is, his last job before he retires. So, and he's a really good guy to work with. I mean, I trust him, and Jesse's met him. And I think that's the next step. So I guess if I need to be on the agenda next week, I'll make a formal request for that, before we go any further, because, you know, we're gonna be spraying it on your land. Parts on ours, but parts on yours. So I need to make sure everyone's on the same page with this. So, if you have any more questions, let me know.
Thank you. All right, public comments? Yes?
I don't really have a comment, but I have a question. I'd like to know what the total number of short-term rental places are in our township.
Well, we have, 3 renewals and, one that we'll approve at the next meeting that have, currently are active. We sent out 25, is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
We sent out 25 renewal notices. So if everybody renews, it'll be 25, plus we get a new one, so we're at least 26. Well, we don't know if they're all gonna renew,
Thank you.
but yeah, last year we had 25.
Okay. Yeah, you wanna go ahead?
Hey everyone, Jason O'Nien, Faithful County Forest and Parks Administrator here today, seeking the town of Bell's support for Faithful County's potential acquisition of the 125 acres of land. I shared with everyone a couple of maps and summary info last week. Land currently owned by David and Marcia Picard. We've been working with them for the last year or so on this acquisition. We do have a signed offer to purchase in place, and now we're trying to find the money. And one of the options for us is the application to a stewardship grant, which if successful would reimburse the county for roughly 50% of the appraised value and 50% for associated costs. Kind of here today just to throw that out there and also to be here for any questions.
I have a question. What does the county want the land for?
It would be enrolled in county forest, managed as part of the county forest program. If you haven't seen it, it's a pretty cool property. It's at a half-mile frontage of the Siskiyou River, connects directly to 240 acres of land in downtown Bell, which then connects to 2,000 acres of land owned by Fairfield County, and provides another public access point. This is a landowner that wants to see the property conserved and protected, and kind of working with the county to get it public ownership.
Jason, I know we've had some discussions about this at other, get-togethers, not necessarily town board meetings, but, I know, there's a,
Do under new business,
What?
under three under new business discussion,
oh, so I can bring it
so,
up.
yeah.
I can
so
bring it
this
up,
is-
I'll bring it up later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on the agenda,
You're-
item
You're on the
three, so-
agenda, so,
Okay, I wasn't
Yeah.
sure how the
Yeah,
interaction
yeah,
worked,
yeah.
if it was
I didn't see that.
part of public
So
comment.
is this already a done deal?
County has an offer to purchase in place, and now we're kind of, the way that the grant works is, the rules changed a little while ago, where now county needs to get town support when applying for the stewardship grant. That's essentially why we're here today, is for that support, and that would reimburse the county, again, 50% of the appraised value. It's about $110,000 grant, when it's all said and done. It's an exclusive pot of money available just for counties that have county forest programs, so it's money that's set aside every year for the program. We basically compete with other counties for it. So if it doesn't go here, it'll go somewhere else.
So does it still need to be approved by the town here, or?
For us to apply, the town would need to support it. If the town does not support it, then we look for funds elsewhere. That's how the stewardship grant's written now. It would come to the town anyway.
Well, I live right next door to them.
Oh, okay.
You know, and I'm just wondering what is the county plan on doing with it?
It'd be part of the county forest program. So basically it would be open for public use. I think the gate that's there now would likely stay, because it's pretty wet property. We'd probably provide a little parking area off the road, give people walking access to the river. But it'd be
That's
managed,
gonna be,
if,
they better be in pretty good shape.
if anybody wants to, it's
Yeah.
open for that kind of use. So it provides that new public access point that doesn't exist now. But it would be part of the county forest program. When the property's ready for management, it would be managed. Most of that property is young aspen. I think it's 2 stages. I think there's a 10-year-old stand and a 20-year-old stand, so we're probably 30, 35 years away from being in there again for management, but it would be public land.
And then that would open it up to hunting?
It would be available for hunting, yes.
Yeah.
Hunting, trapping, fishing, cross-country skiing, those kind of things. Motorized use would be restricted, and we wouldn't open it up to that, but it would be available for other public uses.
Okay, the first I heard about it was last week,
Oh, okay.
you know. So, okay, I don't know, where do you go from here then?
Well, I mean, we're here today formally looking for support
Oh.
from the town to apply for the stewardship grant, and that provides some funding, yeah. After that, if we have everything in place, the goal would be, assuming that everything lines up, that we hope, the goal would be to close on the property probably in early July. And from there, your old county forest program is part of the county forest.
Okay, now, what Kenny was worried about is all of a sudden it's gonna be any future taxes are gonna disappear from it.
Yeah, I mean, the county can't compete with property that's not enrolled in MFL. Say that property could be purchased by somebody else and enrolled in, state tax law program. County outcompete state tax law, we don't outcompete.
They had for sale about a year ago, it was publicly, and then all of a sudden signs just disappeared.
Yeah, they connected with us, so we've been working with them for the past year.
Alright, is there any more public comments? Yes, Roger. Oh, sorry, Jason, are you done? Are you done? Jason?
Oh, yeah, I just questions if there is any.
Yeah, we're getting way too much into a conversation, and this is for comments. We'll probably refer to you, I'm sure, when we get to your thing on the agenda, but if you're done with what you had for now,
Yep.
we'll
I'm good.
let
Thanks.
everybody else speak. Thank you. Roger?
I just to give an update on the senior housing work group. We've been working to accomplish 2 major things. One is assembling the information that we would need to develop a proposal. And the second thing is to finalize a report on the survey and charrette done by Design Wisconsin. And in connection with that, I've distributed to each one of you a copy of the report. It's a draft report. So we're giving it to you for your review, and you keep you informed, obviously. And we would ask that if you wish to make comments, that you would make them no later than the 21st of February, noon on the 21st of February. You can do that in one of two ways. You can just write on the document and leave it with Judy here in the office. Or you can email your comments to Kelly Westland, and I've left that contact information on this handout that I gave to you. And I'll be available for any questions if you have any.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Roger.
Butch, would you like to make a public comment?
Me?
Yeah. Oh, you
No.
wanna address the board? All right, is there any more public comments? All right, well, moving on. All right, first under old business, we have the Hobie short-term rental application. I think we have everything for that except the insurance, is that correct? Everything was listed, I know somebody else commented on it.
Yeah, I didn't look at it this time, cause I thought, I can't remember what we were missing last.
Well, we didn't.
We didn't even look at it.
No, we didn't look at it because you thought you were gonna deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I just saw an email that somebody, I can't remember, I thought it was you that said everything was now there. And I looked at it, and the only thing that was missing is the insurance, and I thought that's what the email said too, is they were gonna provide that starting, when they started their operation.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah, you're right. And they're under the, impression that this is for 2025, but they were operating in 2024. So we need to get their monies from last year. I guess we don't have to worry about their insurance for last year.
Well, I think, well, really, they did pay the fine for not having it, so
Okay.
I think this is fine to have this as their new, as started
Okay.
now,
If
because
they-
they paid the full fine
Okay,
and then applied, so they did get in, we did get them to comply, so that
Good.
was the goal.
okay.
Yeah,
So-
we just didn't have that information. so-
Right,
Yeah.
so I think we're all good except for contingent upon the insurance.
I think their insurance was in place starting in 2025, so I think we're good.
Well, we don't have a copy of that, and they said, I don't remember what the correspondence was, but there is no copy of their insurance, so we do need a copy of their
Okay.
insurance, regardless of that, cause that's the only thing that they've kinda piecemealed this over time, and we have everything now except the insurance. So,
Sorry, I can't get rid of her. I mean, I got her and then she disappeared and it still keeps going, so, okay.
so,
That sounded
Well-
awful, I know.
You know, we're gonna have another special board meeting. Should we just table this until they get it? I mean, I'm not comfortable approving it until we have everything.
well, we can, it's up to you, but in the past, we have approved things contingent upon getting it, so it's
Well,
not
if we put a
valid.
contingency on it, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not valid until we get it, so.
And now we have a committee.
Well, I would just like to
That
get
can
it
do
out of
that.
the way, cause we've had it on the agenda for like 3 months, so.
That's
Yeah.
fine. Let's just put a contingent, I'll make a motion that we approve it, with the contingency that, it's waiting for the insurance certificates.
I'll second that.
The motion is made and seconded, is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say aye. There's no opposed. Let's see, so now we're back to the short-term rental application process, do you have any more updates?
No, that's Steve right there. We met, we have a 4-person committee, Gordy and I and Phil and RD. And so we've got, we're getting a system in place to review when the applications come in. And then we will eventually start looking at the ordinance and maybe writing to the STR owners and getting some feedback about if there's any tweaks or things we need to make to the ordinance. It's been in place for a year. It's pretty soon to be making any substantial changes to it. It doesn't seem to be too onerous for anybody to to navigate, and, so we're just gonna plug away every couple weeks as the renewals come in, and so we'll be able to bring them to the, board in a timely fashion. And, so really, we're just, got more eyes, so things like this contingency for the insurance are less likely to fall through, because there's, we got 4 people looking at it.
We got our bases covered.
Yeah.
Okay,
So yeah, there's no action for the board to take right now.
okay. Thank you. Moving on to new business, we have, the next two is abandoning a section of Jody Road and adopting a section of Jody Road. And I'm glad Jason is here, cause I'm gonna ask him a little bit more about this too, but, these are both just starting the discussion right now. And I don't believe we need to actually abandon anything, but adopting is what we need to talk about, so I'm kinda gonna skip right to 2 for right now. And when the road, there was a section of road built, for anybody that doesn't know, I don't think we've talked about this at all, but there was a section to bypass basically a bad part of Jody Road, and the county was involved with that, and we were hoping to just take that over as far as maintenance goes, is that correct? That was the plan?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, so as far as adopting it, what I was told is we just need a resolution from the county that says, I think it's a resolution dedicating it to a town road or to the town. And then the town board can adopt that, and then we can register it, and that will be a part of another section of town road. So, I guess there's really no actions, but I would like to work forward, or work with those guys, Matt and Jason and whoever else we need to at the county to go forward with that. Does that make sense to everybody? Cause Matt and Jason were already worked on this, so, just to bring it to the board's attention, that I can get basically a drawing or whatever, it's not a very big piece, but for everybody to look at, and then we can work with the county and get that in our roads for gas tax and whatever else. So, unless there's any more discussion, that's what I would like to do. And then kinda skipping back to the first one, which is abandoning, I was told we don't need to abandon anything, even if it ever gets completely blocked off to all public use, it automatically becomes abandoned as far as town roads go. So, we don't have to officially abandon anything. So, unless there's questions.
So what we're doing, we're actually moving?
It
Jody
already,
Road?
yeah, there's already a new stretch of road that's there.
How long is it? Just curiosity.
It's not very long, how long is it?
Not even a half mile, maybe a quarter mile, maybe a third of a mile, to be more accurate, but
So you just
Anybody-
straightened out a road is what they did.
basically straighten out a road.
So unless there's anything else, that's the direction that we're heading,
Sounds good.
alright?
I don't see any issue.
Excellent. Alright, Bayfield County request for a resolution of support for land acquisition. We just heard about this. Is there a motion to start discussion?
Don't know right now, it's kind of like, it wasn't what I expected.
What?
It wasn't what I expected to happen to that. It's,
Well, this is a board,
Give me a second, Bush.
we're just, the board somebody needs to make
Make
a motion for the board to start discussion on anything.
oh,
Also move.
I'll second it.
What's the motion?
I move that we, support the land acquisition off of County Highway C.
And Jackie seconded? Is there discussion?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what's in it for the town of Bell.
Nothing.
Well, I guess sorry.
No, go ahead,
Okay.
yeah.
I guess it comes down where your values are for public land. The return to the town in terms of like revenue in a county forest program is about $4 an acre. So again, it's not gonna do compete really well with properties that are enrolled in MFL. So those are on the tax roll, but taxed at a much lower rate, which these properties are not. I'm not sure how they were taxed prior to the card zoning them. But the return to the town in terms of like timber sale revenue sharing, DNR payments or payment in lieu of taxes, and then our town road aids, it's about $4 an acre when we have good timber sale use, which we did last year. The additional values of the aesthetic, the rec, I mean, those you can't measure in a budget, but they provide real value to this county. And you have a landowner that wants to see this property in public ownership. It's a desire of that landowner.
Just to play the devil's advocate, if they wanna give it to the county, they can.
Well, they're not giving it to us.
Well, I know,
They're buying it.
so they want their cake and eat it too.
That's right.
And I've only met their niece and her husband,
Mhm.
never met them, who owns it. And so now what's gonna happen?
Alright, hold on now, let's just straighten things out. This isn't a time for discussions in the audience, this is the board's time to discuss things. So if you guys wanna talk about it later, you can, but right now, if we ask somebody for input on a question specifically, but this is a time for the town board to discuss and make decisions. We're not taking input from the audience per se. And we don't want conversations, cause we're gonna be here for 6 hours, everybody chiming in, so that's no more public input right now,
Okay,
okay? That's why I asked you if you had something to say to the board before.
oh, well, this is the first time I've ever been to a town board meeting.
There's another option
There's
at the
another
end too.
You
opportunity.
can, yeah.
There's another
option.
public comment period at the end too.
All right,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know what, Jason, you had brought it up about, the public lands, which I understand, and I understand the property owner's decision to go this route, I do understand that. These numbers actually came from Bayfield County Land Records. And we have 38,387.845 acres in the town of Bell. And out of that acreage, acres that are open to the public, and now this is taking in town, county, state, it's taking in all of it. But the acres open to the public currently, as of my email yesterday, was 29,265.73 acres. We got a lot of public land up here. We have a lot of open land. You know, and we're a
75%.
town that we can't really expand because we're boxed in with all this public land. I guess if that makes sense. But anyway, that's my 2 cents on it.
That's about 75%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess my take on, or feeling on it is, I mean, the land, they already have an offer, accepted offer.
Mhm.
So they're asking for our basically recommendation or resolution to support a grant, which is not their only funding source, but at the same time, it's really hard for me to support the county actually buying more land because we're running out of land for people to own privately in the town of Bell, and we can't go any farther north because it's all water, so.
Right.
So I guess it's kind of a dilemma, because what we're deciding here doesn't mean anything as far as them buying the land or not, but at the same time, it's hard to support more public land in a town where there's very little private land available.
Yeah, and Jason, to further what I was starting to say, initially was, all right, that property falls within all that property out there falls within the, Sisquit River watershed. And it's got, a considerable front footage on it. And I guess I have some concerns on, logging that close to the river. And I know when the county purchased the land, in the Lost Creek, watershed, there were it sounded like some plans that you were gonna restrict logging along portions of that just to prevent erosion. And right now, we've got a serious siltation process or problem in the Sisquoc River, as we know from last summer. That's very costly to the town. I mean, we had to dredge again, and we've had to do it 2 years in a row to the tune of, well, about 14,000, wasn't it? 28,000 for 2 years.
Well, I thought it was more than that, but that could.
Well, it probably was more
I
than
think it
that.
was a little more.
I'm just grabbing numbers out of my head, but, I guess that's something that I think needs attention. If we don't do something to prevent some of that erosion, we're gonna be really paying a price for it, so. That would be my concern.
That's a good one.
Did you want me to, was that a question for me, or?
Do you want, was that a question?
Well, that was my question, yeah. It just, if you wanna address it, that's fine.
Yeah, the plans for that property, it has been managed by the previous landowner. And that, the 40 where the river is, there's about a half mile of frontage. If you have the map in front of you, you can kind of see it. But the river corridor, about a 40 acres where the river corridor is, and then there's a little sliver on another 40 where the river kind of connects out of the property. Those portions were not managed by the previous landowner, and they wouldn't be managed by us either. It's a pretty rugged piece, and where they put their cut lines are exactly where we would have put them, well away from the river. That 50 acres or so of the property, 50 acres of the 125 acres would likely never see management from the county. And the portions that would be managed in the future would be the younger aspen stands that were managed before. So that river corridor, there's gonna be a significant buffer on it, and most of it will just over mature, and some of those trees will start to die on their own, but they won't be harvested by the county. And the other side of the river too, there's just access to it. So I think a good 50 acres of that block would be removed, similar to what we did at Lost Creek, would be removed from the harvest schedule and just allowed to be managed passively, so we would manage.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Some more discussion? None? Alright, there's a motion on the floor, which was, you moved to support the resolution.
I did.
So, is there any more discussion? Alright. As far as the motion that was made and seconded, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say aye.
Aye.
Did everybody vote?
Yes, aye.
Okay, so that's 5 against, no one for. Thank you. Moving on to the town CD maturity rate, or date. Janice, you brought this up, so what, were you asking the board, direction, or what do we have to do?
Yeah, it's due the 22nd of February. If you wanna let it go another year, we don't have to do a thing, otherwise it, needs to be cashed, and then it's, so I just want direction. You want it cashed, or do you want it to go for another year?
What's the interest rate?
What's the rate?
I believe it's 4.75, something like that, so we're getting approximately $250 a month.
When is our big payment for the truck due?
Yeah.
That I don't know.
Didn't we stash that money for the?
Yeah. We don't know yet, is that right?
The truck is, set to be equipped with Monroe starting in April. April, yeah.
So we're gonna need that money probably before
The year's up.
the year's
Yeah,
up.
before a year.
Can we get a?
Get a 3-month?
We'd have to rewrite it. You can't roll it over.
Yeah, can't roll it.
It's a 12-month.
So either way, we have to cash it,
Yeah.
cash it
yeah,
in, and then, so.
Yeah, enter and buy
Yeah,
a
that's
shorter
right.
term.
Yeah, and not necessarily that interest rate either.
No, you have a lower interest rate.
It'd be a lower.
Yeah.
But still something.
We'd probably say for 3 months, wouldn't we? If they're gonna start in April.
Yep.
They have a 3-month.
Well, either way, we have to take it out, we have to cash it in.
Right.
Because
We
we
have to
can't,
cash it.
so we would have to, since this is between, or that is between board meetings, we'll have to make a decision to cash it out. And then at the next meeting, we could do something different, reinvest or whatever.
Yeah,
Sounds right.
cause it has to be cashed before the next board meeting,
Right.
so.
Yep.
Okay, so,
So do we need a motion?
I think so.
I'll make a motion that we redeem that CD
I'll second
when
that
it
motion.
comes due.
The motion is made and seconded to redeem the CD that will come due later this month. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say aye. There's no opposed. Alright, we had some illegal dumping, so issue illegal dumping citation to John Mundell. And, do you wanna talk about that a little bit?
Well, a little bit, but basically there was some garbage left at the Flowing Well, right in front of the sign that says, no household waste. And I don't know exactly how Tasha determined who the owner of that was, but she did. And so, again, we have an ordinance about illegal dumping, and we've got someone red-handed illegally dumping, and it's pretty clear to me we should issue an ordinance. I mean, a citation.
Yeah, and there, she did send pictures of the contents, which is how we got the mailing address, and I did cross-reference that with the physical address of the individual in Herbster, so it's gotta be the same person, and I forgot to bring it with me, but our illegal dumping ordinance, I think, is up to $250 fine.
Mhm.
So I think we should issue a $250 fine.
And the word will get out
The word will get out,
that,
Don't do that.
It's cheaper to bring it up there.
well, Herbster's got their own
And
recycling.
Herbster's got their own, so, yeah. Don't think you're gonna get cheaper over here.
So I move we issue a $250 dumping citation to John Mundell.
I will second that motion.
Alright, the motion is made and seconded, is there any more discussion? Alright, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say aye. There's no opposed. Alright, there's been an issue, I guess, the sign at the end of the public town beach is not there, is that correct?
You got an email from a resident on Blueberry Lane asking if it would be possible to replace, so for many years there was no sign. And then I don't know exactly, Roger, or maybe even you were the town chairman before, a sign was put up that said end of public beach.
That was actually even before, it was when Sloan was chairman.
Okay, well, anyway, then over time, these things disappear. And, so this individual was wondering, if we could possibly put that sign back up. Or it's equivalent at the end of the property and say, hey, because, his complaint was he has a dog and, and then on his own property and people are walking by all the time and, I don't think it's gonna do any good, but I don't think it would hurt us to put a sign up. I'm probably as much anti-sign on the beach as anybody, but I don't think it's an unreasonable request to replace that sign. And I think that's what the Parks and Lands thought too, right, Todd?
Yeah.
Yes, and if the town says fine, we'll go ahead and replace it at minimal cost.
So, I mean, does the Parks and Lands just wanna,
Yeah,
Get a
we
sign?
can take care of it,
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
take care of it.
we can take care of it.
so I'm fine with that.
The same person also inquired about the use of the beach off of, I forget the name of that little road that goes down there by where Phil lives.
Oh,
Lost
Lost
Creek Trail.
Lost Creek Road, yeah. We have a little beach there, people are going there, they're wading across the river, and are using, I
The
think
private
it,
beach on
I think it,
Private beach on the
yeah,
other side.
private beach on the other side. To my knowledge, George and Cindy have never complained about that.
They have,
They have,
but they're not the ones directly on the river.
No.
There's another landowner in between,
okay.
Esposito.
yeah.
Oh, that's right, Esposito.
Who, legal?
Esposito.
Well, there's Esposito's on the other side. And then there's,
They own across the.
they own the cross, they own on
Both sides.
Moy's side.
Yeah, but it comes across.
Yeah,
They own on both sides?
yes,
Okay. Well, so, I mean, so they've, I don't know if they've ever complained, but,
yes, they have.
okay, should we put a sign?
On the other end also?
On the other end also?
But where? Because
Uh.
crossing the river is the boundary,
Right.
so
Well, just maybe clearly delineate what the public beach is over
there
there.
was, I don't know if that sign is missing, but I think it's still there. There is a map and a sign
Okay,
that designates where the public beach is, cause that was an issue like 10 years ago.
yeah,
So I think, I wish the Moys were here, cause they would know, but I think the sign is still there on the side of the road. I'm not positive.
I'm not either.
Not sure.
But either way, I mean, Parks and Lands could look into it, and
Yeah.
if needed, cause I can't remember, I think there was extra signs or something, I'm not sure where they would be or what happened, or I think if you talk to either Phil or Nancy, they would know more about that, remember more, cause they were heavily involved, but there was either extra signs or a place to get them remade, if that one is missing. So I think you'd be able to look into that.
Okay.
So is that everything on that?
I think so.
Okay. Are we satisfied on everything?
Yeah, as long as Parks and Lands is
Parks
gonna
and
take
Lands.
care of it and stuff, that sounds great.
Okay. So, gift from North Coast Cycling Association.
Okay, so I occasionally show up at the Parks and Lands Committee, I'm not a member of the committee, but I sometimes show up there, and, they had one time we're talking about getting a grant for a exercise trail, and we were kicking around ideas about what else maybe would be something for, recreation. And, we came up with an idea of perhaps having a bike repair station. It's, basically a pole, but there is a pump. And, so I was asked to check with the North Coast Cycling Association, to see if they would want to maybe help us out with that. And, the Superior Vistas bike tour that they basically started runs to Cornucopia and back. And, they had a board meeting and they said they would buy us a complete bike repair station, about $1,500. And so we just would need to accept that gift from them, and then we'll work with Matt and RD about where to put it. It makes some sense to put it here at the school, it makes some sense to put it, where we have a food station during the Superior Vistas tour. That's down by the green shed. So, it doesn't take up a lot of room, but it, you know, we also could use, people park here and then ride their bikes from, here, we do the Siskiyou Lake up down from here, so it would make some sense to put it here. Cause we should really check with the Harbor Commission and Parks and Lands on location for it too, but, it's a real simple little thing, I don't know if you've seen them in other towns, but they've got some of the standard tools that are hanging on a chain. The main thing is the pump. The main thing is having a pump available. So I would move that we accept a gift of a bike repair station valued at about $1,500 from the North Coast Cycling Association.
I'll second it.
Motion is made and seconded. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say aye. No opposed. Govia short-term rental application.
We're waiting for the check, but everything looked good, right, guys? We went through the application. Their dates of operation are April 1st through November 26th. That's within the 240-day window. So we can okay that pending, the check.
Is that a motion?
I'll move that we, approve the Govea short-term rental application, pending their check.
I'll second that.
The motion is made and seconded, is there any more discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say aye. There's no opposed. The Luth short-term rental application.
Okay, the Luth, application is two applications, one for on Highway thirteen and one for, on Blueberry Lane. Everything was complete, they were both renewals, and, she sent an e-check, so I don't know if maybe, Mary Beth will be able to find that or something, but, it was sent on the 8th from a bank, an e-check.
Sometimes those get mailed, some,
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, so well, anyway, her dates of operation are April 4th through 11/30 for the one on Highway 13 and May 1st through 12/27 on, on the one on Blueberry. And, those are within the 240-day limit, and so I would move that we, approve both of those applications pending receipt of the checks. There should be two checks for those, one check for each.
I'll second that.
The motion is made and seconded, is there any more discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed, say aye. There's no opposed. Short-term rentals operating without a license. I think we got this taken care of, is that correct? That everybody had been sent information and most people had gotten back to us?
Well, you know, that's something that the committee is gonna have to stay on top of. We're gonna have to routinely check Vrbo and Airbnb and just cross-reference, places in the town of Bell that are advertising on that with our applications. And what we've done in the past is when we get notified, when we find something like that happening, we usually go to the county first. County's got more oomph, cause they need a county license too. There's also a registry, the Department of Revenue wants to make sure they get their sales tax. And so, people are supposed to comply, and, so we will, and that comes out quarterly, so we'll be working with, checking that against our existing STRs. And then, Phil Moy, has access to, I guess would be the septic tank hauler, data. And so we can kind of double check that way too, if the water usage is pretty outrageous. They can't say that they aren't having
yes.
people there. So we can, so we've got a couple of ways to check. Right now, I'm not aware of anything that's operating illegally in our town, but, that's more likely to show up in the summer. And again, you know, not everybody knows that we have the ordinance. I don't know how we make that known. You know, maybe our committee could write letters to all the realtors, but people forget sometimes too, but,
Have you
Well,
thought
next-
about talking to Desi
yeah, I've actually,
and ask her,
we've
you know,
been
to-
playing phone tag,
Okay,
so, yeah.
cause I would think that Desi would be willing to help with that too,
Yeah.
just to pass on that tidbit info.
Yeah, she's very willing to help us out. And vice versa, because
Yeah.
we made them aware of a few people that they had no idea we're operating, so.
Well, I didn't think of it this year, but next year we could put a notice in with the taxes that go out to everybody.
Oh, that would be a good
Yeah.
idea.
Good idea.
Yeah. And so, our renewal letter went out, and a few people responded. The Brodersons sold their property out on the point. That was the first person that was causing trouble. They've sold their property and no longer are gonna be operating an SDR. So that'll help the people out on Roman Point.
Alright, so, no citations for now.
Nope, no citations.
Alright, that's the end of the business portion. We have another public comment period. Is there anybody that would like to have a public comment?
Can I
Yes.
ask-
Sure.
Sorry, but, no, I was just, I agree with what they were saying before about the county already owning so much property. That's all I wanted to say. Anything else is personal.
Could I just get clarification on that motion? Was that a motion to deny support?
Yes.
No, it wasn't. We just voted down the motion to do a letter of,
Support.
or resolution
Nor
of
the
support.
resolution.
So there's no resolution of support, I
There was
guess
no
that's-
resolution of support.
Okay. Well, I understand and appreciate the town's position. I mean, just so you know, that potentially means the county will lose out on roughly $120,000 in grant funds that are available specifically for counties for this purpose. So, just so that you're aware, that decision could cost the county about $120,000 if we move forward with the purchase.
You don't have to buy the land.
Yep. Yep.
75% of this township is publicly owned. I think that's enough.
Thank you.
Just me.
Appreciate the position, I just wanted to make sure that was clear. I wasn't clear with the decision, I just wanted to get clarification on it.
Yeah, we just voted down his motion.
We had to make a motion, I guess I could have moved to not support it.
Yeah,
But we have to, we can't have a discussion without a motion.
Yeah.
so. Alright, public comments?
I would like to make one comment. Thank
Yes.
you to the board members for voting on that and the way you did vote. I appreciate that.
Yes,
I've got a comment about the Sispert River crossing on Mountain Road. The DNR has applied for a grant on town's behalf to help with this replacement. Whether or not we're gonna get funded, we're not sure yet. I believe next month I'm gonna have a guy come to the board meeting to give a presentation on this whole project. It's gonna be a bottom, it's gonna be an aluminum box culvert. Would cause the road to be closed for 10 days to 14 days while it's installed. The DNR is willing to do the install. Obviously, a town crew and everything else is gonna do the support as much as we can. This has been a long-term project that I've been working on for 5 years. And finally, we've got pretty good lead on it. It still depends on funding, but that is something that will be presented to you guys hopefully next meeting, March.
I have you on the list for the agenda next month, so. Any other public comments? Alright, motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say aye. There's no opposed.
Yeah, actually,